I was hoping to catch this on video. That's the highest I've seen so far, 167 out of a 200 watt setup. I mean, 200 watts is rated on a perfect world scenario, so that's actually really good compared to what I've seen out of a lot of the suitcase fold-out solar panels so far. Now, this location is temporary, but it was the easiest one to set up for now. Eventually, it's going to be out in this area, covering this direction. But right behind me now is the sun, got full force. By the time it comes around to where the post is, it'll be about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so all of the primary sun is going to hit this thing. The other thing I wanted to point out are these plastic little tie downs that I 3D printed in order to be able to clamp down these solar panels, these fold-outs that I'm testing. I'll post a Patreon link with those in the link. Nothing I post on Patreon is behind a paywall. It is all accessible to everybody. If you'd like to support us though, we'd love to have you. Interesting side note, this is my solar heater that I built 10 years ago. I've never taken it down, I've never repainted it, I've never redone it. And in January, when it's full sunlight, this puts out 115 degrees Fahrenheit out the top of it. You're more than welcome to check this out. I'll post a link down below. But what I wanted to show you is we have had about 5 hours of solid sunlight, because at the end of the day, solar has quibbles. And here's the quibble with my solar setup. If I'm here and I follow the direction of the shadows, we have a tree. And that tree blocks all of my potential solar from about 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock every day in the winter time. And then right about here to here, so sunset for me is 4 o'clock right there. So I get about another 45 minutes worth of sun in the winter time. So let's go see what we're filled up to now. You gotta listen to the better half, especially when she's pregnant. So, what if you're not some crazy redneck whack job and you aren't okay with the idea of making a custom exhaust port through your wall and running cables and running a diesel heater that sounds really loud and obnoxious? Your answer would be a space heater. This one here, I stole from her because this was her input. So this thing is 1,200 watts or so. We've got it hooked up to here. We've also got this running this light up here, which is only like 30-35 watts. But here's the reality. I got a light on, I got a space heater, I got solar kicking in, and this thing says it's only got 1.2 hours worth of potential runtime. Even when my solar was at 150 watts, this thing only said it was capable of about 1.5, 1.6 hours of runtime. And this is the more you know side of this life. This is stupid. 2 hours at the most. This combined with the solar panels, with the output of this thing, and the diesel heat, this, for $5 worth of diesel, I can get almost 36 hours worth of heating an entire 20 by 20 area. That gets me an hour and a half of heating my office. A little itty bitty area. Let's finish this video off with killing off some of my YouTuber pet peeve. Nothing pisses me off more than the YouTubers that live in some sort of fantasy land about solar. So let's talk some reality check here. This is the orange model. The orange model has a bigger battery. That's the reason why it is that I have this model and not the blue model. The problem is that bigger battery is going to add about $600 to the price. That puts this unit at about $1,300. But this also has a really big kicker to it, in that it does not give a damn what kind of solar you put into it. It doesn't care whether it's 12 volts. It doesn't care whether it's 24 volts. It will take all the way up to a 60 volt system, which means it doesn't care what you hook it up to. You could hook it up to $100 panels. You could hook it up to $200 panels. It's not going to care. Therefore, if we delete the overcost 200 watt fold out panel that they sent versus just a $150 panel off of Amazon, we can drop the price of this setup down to about $1,400 plus or minus once you buy an adapter to be able to plug into this, and extension cables and what else. So now, what am I actually saving by using this? I live in Maine. Maine has one of the highest kilowatt hours possible. It is 28 cents per kilowatt hour. Roughly calculated out with the solar panel, on an average day, this unit is going to save me about 2 kilowatt hours on my electrical bill. That comes out to 56 cents a day. Now, as the old adage goes, pennies add up. 56 cents a day times 30 days in a month puts us at about $17 a month in savings. Now, take $17 times that by 12 and we're at roughly a little over $200. So this saves me a little over $200 in a year. That doesn't even begin to add to the equation of what it is saving me on my heating bill, being able to run a diesel heater right directly. I don't have to pay the electrical company for the cost of running the diesel burner in my basement. I don't have to pay them for running the blower. And I'm efficient in the fact that I'm only heating the area that I use for 8 hours a day and not the entire house. So that adds up extreme. I've figured that out to be roughly a savings of almost $150 a month during the winter time, if not more, actually. So running this during the winter time is saving me basically $500. So $500, electrical, it's saving me close to $200. At the end of the day, I'm saving basically about $600 to $800 off of my yearly electrical bill. AKA, this thing will pay for itself by this time next year, plus or minus a month or two. Now, what if I was a good boy about turning off my computer at night? What if I maxed out the wattage capability of solar to this thing at the 500 watts? So let's say I spent $400 to have a 600 watt solar setup so that I could max out the input going into this thing. Remember, solar wattage ratings lie. If it says it's a 200 watt, it actually probably only puts out like 160 or so on a perfect scenario. So if this says it can take 500 watts worth of input, I need 600 watts to be able to produce that input. Remember, solar people like to fluff things and lie a little bit. So let's say I spent $400. Let's say that allows me to off-grid my 300 watts worth of computer usage every day. 300 watts worth of computer usage every day comes out to, let's say, 12 hours worth of running the computer every day. That comes out to 3.6 kilowatt hours. 3.6 kilowatt hours in Maine comes out to a little bit over $1 a day in order to run my computer. $1 a day quickly adds up into $30 a month. $30 a month quickly adds up into $360 a year. So if I spend $400 to add enough solar, I can kill off the cost of running my computer in a year and have it pay for itself. That's the reason why I went with this unit. That's the real reality of why I accepted a sponsorship from Blue Yeti, is because of the fact that I can off-grid enough to be able to save myself potentially about $1,000 to $2,000 worth of electrical payments a year after about 2 years worth of building up solar panels. Have fun, and I hope this video was useful and gave you information to think on. And I hope we brought a reality check to the off-grid capability that has come around with units like this one. Have a good day.